Good evening and welcome to our Year 12 Transition Evening 2024. Thank you so much for giving up your time to join us this evening, and we will try to be succinct but also share some really hopefully quite useful information with you over the course of the next, say, 25 to 30 minutes. You're going to hear from myself first and then a number of other people. Really what we're putting together tonight is a bit of a quick guide to all things Year 12 related, based on frequently asked questions, our experience of Year 12, and we hope that it will be really useful for you. If you do have any questions at the end of this information session, please do get in touch with your child's tutor, or indeed the directors of sixth form, Miss Wheaton or Miss Curling or Mr. Worry, and they will get back to you ASAP with any queries, any questions, any misconceptions or any uncertainties that you may have. I've met the majority of you, but not all of you, so a welcome if your child has just joined us in the sixth form from another school. I am Mr. Charlton, head teacher at Roding Valley. I joined in September of last year, and I've had an absolutely fantastic time so far in the first year. Even if you include RAC in that. And I am now delighted to say that we have a fully functioning canteen serving hot food, which I know is very important to all of our students and staff, dare I say it. So that's fantastic that that is now up and running. But as I say, I'm Mr. Charlton, I'm the head teacher, and I wanted to start really by just saying congratulations to your children, but also yourselves as well, on a fantastic set of results. Our Year 12 cohort this year is fantastic. They look exceptional. I teach one of those year groups as well, and they're doing so well in their first few weeks, and we're really delighted with how they've settled in to life in sixth form at Roding Valley High School. There's a lot of pressure on students these days. There was pressure last year for your child in year 11. We know that, and there will be more pressure when it comes to PPEs, when it comes to their mock exams, and various different deadlines that they're going to have over the next 12 months. If at any point you feel that you need a little bit of extra support, please do get in touch with us, and we'll be more than happy to work with you to make sure that we're supporting yourself and your child over the next 9 to 10 months as they move into year 13. Our vision for our school remains the same, really. The only thing that's changed is, whereas we were once aspiring to be the school of choice in our local community, we now are. We are oversubscribed in year 7. We are oversubscribed in year 12. And that's down to the hard work of everyone that's worked at Roding over the last few years, but mostly it's to do with our students and their families as well, for all of the hard work that they've put in over the last 4 to 5 years to achieve some really outstanding results. And this year was no different in year 13. We were delighted to send off 4 of our students to Cambridge this year. They successfully gained places, which is wonderful. We also had a high number of students who successfully gained places in degree apprenticeships, and I believe that we really are leading the way, certainly locally, in that, as well as a number of other students who went to universities and also into employment. And I think the thing that we're most proud of is that all of our students, or at least a vast majority of them, got where they wanted to get to. And our job is to give them advice, information and guidance, but not to choose for them. So we are equally proud of each and every one of our year 13 students from last year, and they go off with our very best wishes. And I'm sure there's some younger siblings in year 12 this year who've got a lot to live up to. So I'm now going to hand over to the next person, who's going to talk to you a little bit more about some of the more finer details of life in year 12. And once again, thank you for taking the time to join us this evening.
Hello there, my name is Miss Larkin. I'm one of the deputy head teachers at Roding Valley High School, and I'm just going to talk to you very quickly about curriculum progress, teaching and learning during a very exciting time in your child's 7-year journey at Roding Valley High School. So just a bit about the curriculum then. It's really important to know that as soon as your son or daughter has stepped foot into year 12 at this September of 2024, everything that they are learning from this point onwards could be assessed on the full curriculum during their examinations, in the most part that take place at the end of year 13. Of course, the vocational subjects, they are tested on a more regular basis, and they'll form part of their end of year results when they get to the end of year 13. But for the majority of subjects, they won't actually sit formal public exams until the end of their year 13 experience. But it's so important to know that everything that they study from this point onwards could be assessed. There will be normal exam arrangements. Lots of parents asked me about COVID and if there was any sort of, payback for that. There isn't. We are back to normal exam arrangements with no additional support material. And the Year 12 experience must be a full focus on the content and skills that we're building during our A-level experience. Lots of students find Year 12 hard academically. I think back to my own Year 12 experience, and I did as well. It is tough. It is a big jump, but we can take on the challenge, and we've got plenty of support from our teachers and all of our excellent resources for your son or daughter. So I just wanted to give you a few key dates then that are surrounded or are focused, on curriculum and progress. And the first one of those really important dates, they're not in order, but I would like to go through them in order of importance really, is our Parents' Evening that is on the 27th of March. So the 27th of March is where all parents and carers will be invited in to discuss progress. We also like students to come to these events as well, because at the end of the day, it is about them. They should know how they're getting on, but it's really good to get that face-to-face feedback. Parents' evenings are all based in school now, so we look forward to welcoming you onto site for that. Please put that date in your diary. We also have 3 sort of windows of assessments that are then linked to reports that you'll get home. The first assessment, so the round 1, is the week beginning the 4th of November. Now, you might think that's quite quick, so therefore we only capture attitude to learning at this stage in Year 12 because they haven't learned quite enough content to be able to be formally assessed and given an A-level grade at that stage. So that is just attitude to learning. Assessment 2 will be a bit more serious. That is where we officially start to test the progress that your child or your son or daughter, has made. And that is the week beginning the 10th of February. They will be much more serious. They will be done in class, and the teachers will explain how they will be assessing them for that window, for that period of time. And lastly, you've got the progression PPE, which is massive in the Year 12 experience. And that's the week beginning the 6th of May. That is where all Year 12 students will undergo a series of real exam papers. They will sit in real exam conditions in the sports hall in the main hall, and teachers will get busy marking them in lots of detail, giving them loads of feedback, doing closing the gap tasks with them so they understand how to make the amendments they need to make before they hit Year 13. If your son or daughter hasn't done very well in that progression PPE, you must therefore attend a concerns evening that we hold in July. The date will be confirmed by the 6th form team, and it's so important that if we're invited that evening, we do attend, because we really need to put in place a plan for their Year 13 experience. And whilst I'm talking about those progression PPEs, as I said earlier, it is a formal exam. It is under exam conditions. And it's so important that we know how serious we take that. So what I'll say to all Year 12s now is take on the advice from Mr. Mia, take on the advice from Miss Curling, Miss Wheaton and the 6th form team, which is get yourself organised, get your folders ready, get your PLCs in order, make sure that you're keeping all those notes safe, because I promise you will need them when it comes to May of this academic year when you come to revise officially. And we really don't want to be in a bad situation at that point, because it could be very stressful. So get it sorted now. Thank you very much for listening to my little section, and hopefully you enjoy the rest of this talk. Thank you very much.
Right, hello everyone. My name's Sam Smith, Deputy Head. I'm in charge of culture and ethos in the school, and I think the first thing I was going to start by saying is that we are very, very proud of the Roding community. We very much feel as if we are a community school in a number of ways. First of all, I think we've got a really strong community at the school, talking about the learners and the adults in the building. But secondly, we really feel as if we sit at the heart of the Loughton community and the local community, and that's also extremely important to us as a school. And community is very important, because a strong community will mean that pupils will be more successful. There's absolutely no doubt about that. And of course, communities need care. And that's where really my job is important, because communities need strong rules so that people know what they can and cannot do. And what we think is really important is that there are strong and dependable routines for things, so that there are no surprises, so that when children walk into lessons, they know what to expect. When they're lining up for assembly, they absolutely know what to expect. And these routines help us not really need the rules themselves, because everybody knows exactly what's expected of them. But of course, in all communities, things do occasionally go wrong. And when things go wrong, in this community, we aim to fix them. So when people fall out from time to time, we aim to fix those relationships. When things go wrong between teachers and pupils, when there's a misunderstanding, then we aim to fix those relationships. And it's relationships at this school which we feel are so important. And at the centre of all of that is the pupil. And around that sits an extraordinary number of people who are there to support that pupil, from the form tutor, who is the first port of call for any issues that the pupil has, and of course from any issues that families want to raise. That's the form tutor should always be the first port of call. Then there is the head of year. There is a large extended leadership team and senior leadership team in the school who are here to support pupils. Obviously, their teachers are here to support, and those relationships are absolutely fundamental to the success of pupils. We have a pupil support team who work with pupils to help them to always make the right choices and to help restore things when they've gone wrong. And obviously, the learning support department will be working with a number of pupils to help them to access the curriculum and being as successful as they can. But even more than that, there is the safeguarding team who are there to make sure that children feel okay, that where we've got concerns, they are addressed. The attendance team works to ensure that pupils are here as much as they possibly can. We have pupil voice, which enables pupils to talk about what they think about the school and suggest improvements. There are all of the support staff working in the school, from reception team to teaching assistants that are here. At Sixth Form Mentors, which is a programme that starts shortly, where pupils will be supported by Sixth Form students. And that's a weekly mentoring system. And there are prefects further up the school that are there to support pupils when they need it. So there's an enormous amount of support, but these are all relationships, and all of these relationships need care and need restoring. They need to be established in the first place, to be maintained as we go along, and to be restored if and when things go wrong. As for the rules, because it's right to talk about what the rules are. The rules are important. Strong communities need strong rules. Behaviour policies can get very complicated, and there can seem like there are really a lot of rules. Most of that is detail. There really are only 3 rules in this community, and they are very straightforward. But if pupils, and I've been saying this to pupils all week, if a pupil were to follow these 3 rules, they would really not be going very far wrong. Clearly, they're here to learn. Each individual pupil is responsible for their own learning. And obviously, if they're behaving in a way that stops them from learning, they're going to be breaking some rules. Similarly, if pupil behaviour stops other people from learning, that's going to be a problem. So, we are here to allow to learn as much as possible, but also to allow other people and to help other people to learn as much as possible. And finally, to show kindness and respect for yourself and the school. And those are the 3 rules, and everything else follows from those 3 rules. But if you only keep those 3 rules in your head, you won't go far wrong. Clearly, everything else comes from that. So, why do we expect pupils to be in school 100% of the time? So they can learn as much as possible. Similarly with punctuality. Uniform is about respect for yourself and for the school. It's also to help us kind of maintain a sense of equality across the school, which we wouldn't have if pupils were in their own clothes. Lesson behaviour, clearly, good lesson behaviour enables good learning to happen. Playground behaviour will affect learning in class. It's also about kindness and respect, and so on and so forth. And all of these things really come from those 3 main rules. To talk about attendance briefly, attendance percentages are strange things, because in any other activity, if you got 96% on a test, for example, you would rightly feel as if you had done extremely well. 96% attendance, though, isn't satisfactory. So a pupil with 99% attendance across a school year will still have had 2 days off. And in those 2 days, they will have missed 12 lessons, they will have missed 12 hours of learning, and they may have missed really crucial things, particularly in those exam years where anything that you miss is going to make a difference. 95% attendance, which, you know, again, arguably you might think is good, that will be nearly 10 days off in a school year. And really crucially, a pupil with 90% attendance, below which they will be considered persistently absent. If you have 90% attendance, it means that when you take into consideration weekends and holidays, plus the time you've taken off, you will, in a school year, spend more time at home than you will at school. And obviously, that is going to affect your ability to learn. And there is a very clear correlation between absence and underachievement and lack of progress. It's similar for punctuality. If a child was 2 minutes late for each lesson in an academic year, they will have missed 39 lessons, 39 full lessons, 39 hours of learning, which is over a week of school. So minutes add up, and these things really are very, very important. You know, in addition, 2 minutes late into the lesson, you're going to be disturbing the learning for other people as you walk in. So we do expect 100% punctuality to school and to all lessons. Pupils have 5 minutes transition time between lessons, but if pupils are marked late, there will be a 20-minute late detention after school. And punctuality to school is very, very important. Pupils arriving late through the late gate will receive a 20-minute detention at lunchtime every day. As I said, good communities need strong rules and strong routines. That's everything that I wanted to talk about this afternoon. Thank you very much for listening, and I look forward to speaking with you soon.
Hello parents and Year 12 students. I'm Mr. Mir. I'm the Assistant Head for Teaching and Learning. Today we're going to talk about what we can do this year to make it a really successful year. So one of the first things is just to make sure that our students are making best use of sixth form. And so we have some academic expectations for our sixth formers. Coming into Year 12 is a huge change, and we are a sixth form rather than a college, so we do provide lots of support. However, it's about transitioning towards a more independent or semi-independent state where students can embrace the challenge of learning and accessing resources and being a bit more independent before making their way to university or the next steps of their journey. So our students will receive targets soon, and that will support them to fulfill their potential. We want them to work to the best of their ability, and there is a transition, and that's something that our teachers and our support staff will be helping all of our students to make. What that does require from our Year 12s is to be mature, organized, and more dedicated in how they approach their learning and how they also manage their time inside of school and also outside of school. And we have something called home learning, which those students of ours that have been here earlier know is our own language for homework. It's just the same, that we call it home learning. And it's a learning that takes place at home. And we do say that that should be about 2 to 3 hours per day on average. Whether that's done over the weekends or during the day, it should roughly average about 2 to 3 hours per day, about 21 hours per week. And this is something that we do share with all of our students at sixth form, which is the expectation is for every hour that is taught in the classroom, students should do or spend at least the same amount of time at home consolidating that learning. So, for example, if they do 5 hours of biology or 5 hours of French, then you'd expect them to also do 5 hours at home consolidating and going over that work and doing extra work on top of that. So in terms of independent learning, how would we like students to spend their time? Over a 10-hour week, students will have to motivate themselves. Because we're a sixth form, we do have a full timetable of lessons, and then where there are no lessons, our students remain on site primarily. And we do expect that in those sessions, they're using that time to study, to go over work, to complete home learning, to do some revision, to do wider reading. So there is directed study that students have for every single subject populated in their timetables. What that means is in that slot, they are based in school and they're doing work such as homework for that particular subject. And we will make sure that this is available for all of their subjects on their timetable. When we go to revision, it's not a long time away before we get to revision. Our students will think about, well, how do I make effective use of my revision? How do I manage my time effectively? And those are things that we will share with them. We'll have assemblies, we'll have a revision workshop, and our sixth form team have lots of ideas to support them with that as well. But one of the key things that we encourage our students to take on board is this concept of interleaving. What that means is that revision is done in chunks and subjects and topics are mixed up throughout rather than done in big blocks. So for example, if for a particular subject, you have topic 1, topic 2, topic 3, topic 4, topic 5 to 6, it's not advisable that students spend one evening on topic 1, topic 2 on the next evening, topic 3 another day, so on and so forth. That's not very effective. And the evidence shows that the best way to support memory and retrieval is to interleave, to mix those topics up, to do them in smaller chunks. So you might do a third of topic 1 on the first week, a third of topic 2 in the second week, and the final third in the third week. And between those, you might do a bit of topic 3, a bit of topic 6, a bit of topic 4. And that's really powerful for supporting memory and for keeping motivation and engagement going. Some students would like to make use of that now. This idea of interleaving just supports memory. We know that if you keep repeating things and keep coming back to it over time, it goes into long-term memory. It's also much easier to bring back into current working memory. But to do so, they need to start now. And although our year 12s won't have done an awful lot of content at this stage of the year, they can still begin to interleave what they have learned and revise and go over those materials. And really, when we get towards the assessments and the exams, the best resource is the teacher. And what I would suggest students do, even in year 12 at this early stage, is to have a keen focus on exam skills. And teachers will be able to tell you what those exam skills look like and what they need to do to be able to improve on those exam skills. There are some past papers available, which teachers can guide them to. We have a revision microsite, which is for year 13s. However, much of it will be applicable to our year 12s as well. And they can access bits of it, or at least attempt parts of some questions. And again, the teachers will be best placed to guide them for this. We've also got examiner reports available, and that can really help to push students to model their answers towards A star. And we can give lots of A star examples in lessons as well. So please make use of your teacher, ask them, get hold of them far in advance of any exams. Finally, I wanted to talk about supercurricular reading. This is something that we believe is really important for our sixth formers. And what this is our subject leads. So for different teachers from different subject areas, they have put together some reading materials, which they've collated or purchased and made available for our sixth formers. And what they do once a week during form time, they have an opportunity to sit down and read through the supercurricular reading, and it improves their vocabulary, but really it gives them wider reading and allows them to be a much stronger candidate when they go to applications for university or for jobs or for interviews. They're just able to speak about things around their subject, they're around to show their passions for those areas that they're interested in, but rather than just the academic things that they're learning in the lesson. So I wanted to thank you all for your ongoing support. I really do believe working together, we can make this a really successful year. Thank you.
Hello there, everyone. My name's Laura Curling. I'm one of the directors of sixth form here at Roding Valley. and it's my real pleasure to welcome so many students to Year 12. And for you as parents this evening, really important to give you some vital information about what it's like being a sixth former, particularly what it's like being a sixth former at Roding Valley. And I will take you through some key themes this evening so that you have a real sense of what sixth form life is like for your child. So there's 5 broad areas I'd like to talk to you about tonight. One is just to introduce you to what sixth form life looks like if you are a student joining us in Year 12. The next area is our academic expectations of students. Then I'll move on to pastoral support and expectations. Then I will talk about wider opportunities besides simply the 3 core subjects each student studies. And lastly, do get a pen and paper ready if you need to, because there'll be some key dates for your diary on what to expect for the student over the next 2 years. So firstly, as I said, welcome to our sixth form. We're very, very proud of our sixth form indeed. So a few years ago now, Ofsted did give us the label outstanding, but with or without that, there's no question our results this summer do speak for themselves. So we were incredibly proud, and it was a very enjoyable day as a member of staff. Our percentage of grades at A level between A star and B was over 62%, which is absolutely phenomenal. We are far above what you would expect a mixed state comprehensive that's non-selective to be performing at, A star to B. So we are incredibly proud of that. We had a lot of students with very, very happy faces that day, which was a very rewarding day for our staff here. So 4 of our students who had been given Cambridge offers did successfully meet the requirements to get their place. So we're very, very proud of them indeed. We also had a large number of students getting their first choice university. So everyone was here on hand to support those who did need to use clearing, but we didn't have many. We had a lot of students with very, very happy faces, straight A's, A stars, and going on to a wide range of universities of their choice. Equally, we had a lot of students securing really competitive apprenticeships at places like BT, Unilever, BGC. These are some of the names. Every year it seems to get more competitive, and every year we have lots and lots of success. So we're very, very proud of our students and very proud to support them with whatever it is they're aiming for, whether that's university or world of work. We are an aspirational sixth form, so we want the students aiming high all the time. And as I said, we don't mind what that aim is, whatever it is, we'll support them. But we do know that to reach their dreams, they will need to work hard. So we expect them to work hard every day. Okay, so high aspirations, high expectations, and students working hard to get those really fantastic outcomes. I wanted to introduce you to the team that will support them to do that. Myself and Miss Wheaton are your directors of sixth form. So we job share the role, and we don't expect anybody to remember who's in on what day. Just if you do need to contact us, use the usual email, sixthformoffice@rodingvalley.net. That means that the whole team receive the email. Or if it's something specifically that you want us, and I'll tell you who to contact in what instance in a moment, but if it is something that it's right that the director of sixth form is the right person to contact, do just copy us both in. That ensures that one of us will get back to you, whoever's next up, okay? So we'll get back to you as quickly as possible. So we are here to manage the overall academic experience in sixth form. Mr. Worry is our assistant head of sixth form, and he takes a pastoral lead. So if there is something that is troubling the student, if there are pastoral concerns around behaviour, punctuality, attendance, and if there's well-being issues, safeguarding concerns, he is our designated point of contact. Other members of staff in the school, however, are also part of our safeguarding team. So it's not just him alone looking after the well-being of our students. He's just our initial point of contact. Okay, we have 6 or so designated safeguarding leads, all led by our deputy head, Mr. Smith, and Mr. Worry. Ben Worry is part of that wider team. Okay, so students can approach any member of that team if anything were to be wrong, but he's our dedicated sixth form support. Then we move on to our support team. We have Miss Mason, who has more than 20 years experience with careers, and she does an absolutely fantastic job. She's in Monday to Wednesday, and she provides career support. Miss Celliers is the first port of call, so you'll have probably already had some messages from Miss Celliers, and she's the person who'll answer the phone if you are calling us to let us know about attendance, for example. But we like to refer to her affectionately as the sixth form mum. We have Miss Parton. Miss Parton is our sixth form supervisor, and she has the really, really important job of trying to keep the supervised study area a productive and purposeful area, which is not always an easy task given the size of the area. And we have, last but not least, Mr. Murray, who's, you may know because he's very active in our local community, and he supports the sixth form team 1 day a week. And he, at the moment, is focused solely on supporting university applications. Okay, but at various points in the year, he does sometimes support with other matters. Okay. Now, who to contact for what reason? If you have a subject-specific concern or query, do just get in touch with the student's classroom teacher or that head of department. Okay, so if there's something that just applies to one subject, it's best to speak to your child's class teacher regarding that. If it's a day-to-day pastoral concern, something about a pattern of lateness, attendance, then it's the form tutor. Something we've called academic mentor for a number of years. So the students will see that form tutor every single morning, period 1, nice friendly face, nice bit of consistency, and think of that person as their first port of call, a bit like a parent, but in school. It's the closest thing they've got to represent them. Okay, so any worries, they should go and speak to their form tutor in the first instance. Anything regarding attendance, leave of absence, upcoming meeting or appointment, do speak to Miss Celliers. Careers, it's Miss Mason. Any concerns about wider progress, so something that's academic and it's affecting beyond one subject. Okay, so it might be affecting the child and affecting the performance in all areas. That would be me or Miss Wheaton. And last but not least, for a wider pastoral concern, something non-trivial, that will be Mr. Worry. So, our academic expectations. Sixth form is quite tricky, and the jump between year 11 and year 12 is quite a big jump. So we want the students to adjust as quickly as possible to sixth form life. Okay. Target grades for students were shared with staff last week. So in the upcoming lessons, students will be being told what their target grade is. Now, this does not need to limit them. This has been calculated based on their GCSE performance. Now, if they were to make slightly above average progress over the 2 years, this target grade is what they would achieve. But this should by no means limit the student. We always encourage them to aim high. In order to succeed, the students need a really dedicated and organised approach. Now, this morning, Monday 16th, all of Year 12 were involved in a session led by Mr. Mia and Mr. Cocker, all about how to be organised. So that gave them some really practical tips on what success looks like and how to really be independent and organised about your studies. And this is the first time that the student will have any periods that are non-contact periods on their timetable. So we don't refer to these as frees, because we do want to emphasise that working within these study periods independently has such a big effect on progress, a really positive effect on progress if they're used well. Now, you'll notice that the students, by and large, most students in the sixth form are doing 3 subjects each. There are a handful doing 4. Nobody's doing less than 3. Each subject will have 5 hours of teaching. There are a handful of exceptions that will only have 4, but almost all our subjects have 5 hours of teaching per week. So of the possible 25 hours of timetabled lessons per week, the student will have 15 hours with a member of staff in front of them. That leaves 10 hours a week that the student needs to use productively. So they come to the Brook Library, and being able to self-motivate, that sense of willpower, that sense of structure and organisation will really, really help the student to succeed. If the student doesn't have a timetabled lesson, period 6, which is the final row on the graphic you can see there, they do not need to return to school after lunch. So they are allowed out of the gate at lunchtime to go and get lunch off site. But they must come back if they have a timetabled lesson. So in this case, maths on Monday and geography on Friday. But they do not need to return on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. In this instance, they may work independently at home or at the local library, for example. Okay. Now, what we suggest is that they don't leave each topic until they get to the very end of the topic before they revise it. So on the graphic, you will see at the top, topic 1, topic 2, topic 3. If they, instead of doing that at the end of a topic, use an approach called interleaving, it would look more like the graphic at the bottom of the page. Okay. Now, every subject teacher will give the students a PLC for each unit. Now, this is a personalised learning checklist. It is a list of everything that they need to know within a unit. Now, that really helps a student to pick off smaller chunks to revise one at a time. So the approach here really is little and often, and it's a little from each subject, interwoven with one another. So it might be that Monday is a day that 3 periods are used to revise 3 things on the geography checklist. Then Tuesday will be focused on biology, for example. And they won't leave things right to the end, but they'll be working their way down the PLCs, perhaps ticking things off as they revise them, or colour coding red, amber, green as they go. And a little and often from each of the subjects, not trying to give an equal amount of time spent to each, so that one is not more heavily weighted than the others, and so that they don't feel behind in one compared to the others. It's a good idea to start straight away. So we're not asking for students going to bed late. We're not asking for students to be working all of the weekend. But if they are using their independent study periods effectively, and if they are doing 2 to 3 hours each evening between Monday and Friday, that is essentially like a 9-to-5 job. We're not asking for more than that. But if they are able to meet those kinds of hours of work, then they will succeed academically. Okay. Now, what pastoral support is available at Roding Valley? Okay, we do have we're very proud of offering a good pastoral support system here. Students will spend most of their time in the Brook Library. This is our dedicated sixth form space, and it is a very nurturing environment. Okay, so the students can speak to any one of us if they need us, and they always know where to find us because we're always based in that area. Mr. Worry is our designated safeguarding lead, but as I said, any member of staff can help. It really helps us if there is frequent communication between home and school, so do feel free to simply pick up the phone. I will stress we are better on the phone and in person. Okay, teaching staff, when they are with their teachers, with their classes during the day, we don't expect them to be reading or replying to carefully crafted emails while teaching with students in front of them. And sometimes that can make it really difficult to get to it. But if we've got a voicemail and there's something urgent and someone needs a call back, we are more likely to see that quickly than getting through the email list at the end of the day once the students have left. So please, please, please do just pick up the phone to us, okay? Now, one other area of support that we can provide is financial support, because getting to school, buying textbooks at A-level, all of this can be quite expensive. So can our uniform. So the sixth form bursary is there for any student that needs it. The eligibility criteria are broader than you think, though we do have to provide a lot of evidence. The forms are available from Miss Elias, but they're actually also out on display in the Brook Library. So there are multiple places the student can take one, either discreetly or they can just be open about it. There's no embarrassment here whatsoever. We can be very, very discreet, though, if the student wants us to be. There's no problem, okay? It is worth doing. The student can get up to £1,200 per year to support their academic learning. It can be used for things such as uniform, books, travel to and from school, compulsory field trips, for example. Unfortunately, not wider trips like the DofE, but something like the geography field trip where it's a mandatory part of the course. It can help with the cost of that. And it also is something that universities ask us when we submit the application. Is the student eligible for the sixth form bursary? And they can look more favourably on those applications in some cases. So it is worth doing. We are expecting students to be here every day, and they need to be in their form rooms by no later than 8:30, okay? It doesn't mean being dropped at the gate at 8:30 is good enough, and it doesn't mean that the student can come in and hang around at the sixth form toilets for 10 minutes before they go to period 1, okay? This is an essential part of their day, okay? If the student is marked late when registers close at 8:30 for form time, they will sit a detention that day, and if they were to miss that, they would end up with a longer detention the next day after school, okay? But please avoid this, okay? In some cases, it cannot be avoided, and there are extenuating circumstances, okay? A day where the trains are cut, for example, okay? But simply traffic that we all will expect, and, you know, usual traffic, usual train delays, students are expected to plan ahead and ensure they are here on time, as they would do for the world of work, okay? This helps get them ready for the world of work. So please no emails excusing them because they were sat in ordinary traffic, or because one I particularly enjoyed last year, the dustman came. Okay, we know about that. That is a foreseeable eventuality. So it needs to be a genuinely extenuating circumstance, please, if you are going to email us to excuse them. Our uniform expectations are high, and we do expect students essentially to wear a suit. Okay, you have got the full detail, and the students have signed for that in their handbook, but they do need to be wearing a suit, just like the lower years where a blazer is included as part of the sixth form uniform policy. And if the student is wearing a skirt to school, that skirt should be knee length, please. We've got a 5 centimetre tolerance level on that, but it should be a formal tailored suit essentially. So no stretchy skirts that we can see through, please, because this is a 7 to 18, a year 7 to year 13, which means we've got 11-year-olds up to 18-year-olds in this school. So we don't want anything inappropriate, please. Just professional dress every day, and if you need any support with that, please do let us know. But supporting us does help, as it means that we have a professional, mature looking sixth form. We have employers coming in to meet the students, and we do love to hear their positive feedback about how smart they were, how professional they came across in their interactions. And we don't enjoy having to nag students about lengths of skirt or you know, untouched shirts. This is not a good use of our time. We'd much rather be having positive interactions with them about their learning. So do support us with that, please. I've already mentioned the bursary, but please, please, please just come forward for the bursary. Life outside of the sixth form, we do understand that students are starting to become independent, not just with their schoolwork, but in their wider life. And paid work can offer a lot of benefits, and it gives the students something really meaningful to talk about on their personal statements. It gives them genuine work experience and life experience. So we are supportive of the students taking on jobs outside of school. However, any more than 8 hours a week working at a Saturday job, or if they may be doing evening shifts, for example, any more than 8 hours, and there is a negative correlation with progress in the sixth form. A-levels are hard. BTECs, they are hard. They require a lot of coursework and lots of hours put into the subject. So we cannot stress enough, any more than 8 hours, and academic performance is likely to suffer. So please ensure if your child does have a job, they're not signing themselves up for any more hours than that per week, please. So what else is going on beyond the 3 or 4 subjects in some cases that the student has chosen? Well, there's quite a lot on offer. We have core maths and EPQ. Now, these two are still considered quite academic, but they are an additional enrichment activity on top, worth half an A-level. Now, with core maths, the curriculum is set, but it's half an A-level, very well regarded. So for students that didn't get a grade 7 or above in GCSE maths, it's recommended grade 5 and 6 take this additional half an A-level and core maths, and like I said, very well regarded by future employers. Okay, really good numeracy skills are very, very well positive in terms of applications. EPQ is something the student gets total free reign over what they choose to do it on. So we had someone research, for example, last year, the use of artificial intelligence in a particular industry, and that was what they were really interested in. Whereas we had other students who just loved history, so they wanted to pick a particular part of history and do a project on it. So anything at all, and our dedicated EPQ lead, who is Miss Taylor, will help the students to distill down their title into something that's a manageable topic. And ask a valid inquiry question, and they can do anything at all that they're passionate about. So it's a really good way to get an additional half an A-level. Increasingly, some universities are including it in their offers as well, which is worth knowing. And then we have some wider enrichment activities. For example, Duke of Edinburgh, we've run that for many years at Roding Valley. We've got the Chelsea football programme. If your student hasn't already let us know that they'd like to be involved in that, there is still some time. There are student leadership active opportunities, and I'll show you some of those roles in a moment, amongst other things. So student mentoring is just one thing that student leaders in the past set up and continue to run, okay? Now, our student leadership opportunities. At the top, we have our student executive, and our current Year 13 students in those positions. At the top there, 2 positions for head prefect. At the moment, this is done by Louis and by Jasmine. Okay. Now, in the row below them, you can see our 4 senior leadership, senior prefect positions. We have AJ, Amber, Rosa, and Sydney in that role there. Now, all of these students, to get into these positions, went through a really rigorous application process. It's a very rewarding day for staff, but it's also a very valuable day for the students. Really, really fantastic interview practice. And we also run something called a fishbowl activity. Really, really good for future employment opportunities and the processes they may face as they move into the world of work. Here you've got our house captains. We have 5 houses at Roding Valley. Each house has 2 captains to lead that house, and they'll be doing things, these sixth form captains. These sixth form captains are delivering assemblies, and they're delivering assemblies to all age groups. So everybody from Hawking House will be in the hall on that particular day. And it's very daunting, but it's really fantastic to see these young students step into that really fantastic role. We also have sixth form captains. This is a smaller scale role where their focus is solely on sixth form life. So is there some feedback from the other sixth formers that they need to feedback up to staff? Is there something they'd like to offer to run or to change about sixth form? So sixth form specific, this one. Now, Miss Mason, she runs a fantastic careers programme. She will meet with every student by the time they are at the end of year 12. So everyone will have a careers meeting. But throughout the year, they will be given on a fortnightly basis the sixth form careers bulletin. Now, on this are so many opportunities. Anytime someone reaches out to us, Miss Mason makes the details available and says, are you interested in a career in medicine? Then why don't you sign up to this workshop being run by the following university? Last week, she was advertising one for a hackathon for those who are interested in computer science and going into a role that might be ethical hacking, for example. There are some really niche opportunities, but anything at all. She publicises it and shares it with the students, and one of their period 1 sessions per week is dedicated to careers. She also invites employers in, and we have employer talks throughout the year where they come to us on a period 1 and they come and speak to us and speak to the students that have signed up. So students that are interested in architecture came to our last talk, and we had about 20 or so sign up for that talk. And then at the end, there's an opportunity to introduce themselves and potentially network with that person as well. We're proud to follow something called the Gatsby 8, which is what a benchmark for what good careers provision in schools looks like. And Miss Mason is fantastic at ensuring that we meet all of those benchmarks. This quote is fantastic, and I think sums up so much of what I've already said. Employers look for young people who are rigorous, rounded and grounded, with not only skills and knowledge, but also the wider behaviours and attitudes that are needed for success in life and work. Now, they may be young, and it may only be before summer that they were Year 11 students, but this is what we're trying to foster: a daily interaction, a daily environment that prepares them to be seen in this way, where they're professional young adults that are getting themselves ready to move on, so that when they do leave us at the end of Year 13, they're ready for the challenges that they face. Anytime we run activities to get them ready, we call it the Beyond 18 curriculum. So anytime you see something labelled Beyond 18, we have Beyond 18 information evenings, assemblies. In the period 1 sessions that we call personal development, we have a Beyond 18 curriculum. Anytime we're talking about this, we're talking about them planning for the future. And although it might feel early, we start now just so that they are fully informed of what all of their options are. Now, last but not least, a few key dates for your diary. The sixth form assessment calendar looks like this. PPEs, this is pre-public exams. That's the new word for mocks. These are essentially mock exams. Now, in November, when you get your first bit of feedback on how your child is doing in sixth form, it is just an ATL grade. That stands for Attitude to Learning. Now, that is just a score between 1 and 4 of how well they're performing in class, but it's not an academic grade. The first progress point you'll get is in February. That will be based on a combination of classwork, homework, past exam questions. It could be a particular end of unit assessment that's done in a classroom, but it is not yet based on a mock. So that will come in February, your first piece of academic grading. Then in May, they will have a full set of a full timetable, a PPE timetable, where they will be doing those exams, and they will be centrally done in the hall or sports hall. Okay, so the student gets a taste of what the exams feel like, and that set of data that you'll receive after those May mocks, that will be a fuller picture for you of how they're doing academically. In Year 13, they have 2 sets of mocks. They take place in November and February. The November is a smaller mock, but the February mock is a full set. So if in the real exam they would have had 3 exams, then this will also be the case. So in February, my geographers, for example, because there are 3 final papers, they will sit 3 exam papers. And there are all sorts of things going on to help prepare the students for university as well, starting this week actually with our first Oxbridge workshop being held on Wednesday the 18th, but that goes on throughout the year. The timeline for UCAS, and again, I'm sorry that it probably feels very, very early on, but it's worth you being aware. We recommend that after Christmas and towards the spring, students are already researching their universities and starting to go on open days. Wherever possible, these should be booked for the weekends, please. In May, they have their PPE, so they're going to want to be revising predominantly at that point. And the data they get from that will help them inform what kinds of universities are going to be open to them. The first draft of their personal statement is something we launch in July. Okay, so we'll launch that in period 1, and they'll start to work on personal statements. They'll see some examples of what good ones look like, and they'll put their first drafts together with their form tutor at this point in July. When they come back to us in September, we do expect that personal statement is nearing completion. And for those who are thinking about Oxbridge Medicine and Dentistry, we would like it complete over summer. So several drafts will already have been done, several points of review and several bits of advice from multiple people, all taken on board and ready for that early applicant deadline on the 15th of October. Okay, it comes around so quickly, so they do need to be ready for that by the summer. Now, the main UCAS deadline is at the end of January, but we as a school aim for December. And the reason for that is there is an early mover advantage. So leaving it to the last minute can sometimes mean that the university recruitment teams are inundated And we don't feel that they are actually spending time. Some of them are reporting spending less than a minute per application because they simply cannot read through every single one, given the volume that they have. So the earlier we send in, the more success we have seen that the students have in all these previous years of supporting students through the UCAS process. In March, Student Finance opens, and it only takes about half an hour, but it's something that you will do with your child with multiple documents in front of you. You need things to hand, things like P60s, things like tax bands, things like national insurance numbers. It's something you'll do with your child and make sure you meet the deadline for that, which is normally at the beginning of June. It's worth doing it early because obviously in May they have their real exams. So you want them focusing on their revision. And by late May, early June, they will have responded to their offers. So if they're lucky enough to have all 5 offers, they now need to say, well, which one am I going to pick as my firm choice? And which backup option, a slightly lower offer, am I going to pick as my insurance choice? And then comes results day, which will be mid-August. And the student will have to decide, okay, they will now know, have I met the requirements to go to my firm or insurance choice? And if not, do I need some support with clearing? So that, in summary, is the UCAS process. And again, we support the student throughout. Thank you so much for listening to me. I hope that that's been helpful. But if I haven't answered any questions, please do come back to the sixth form team. And that email, once again, is sixthformoffice@rodinvalley.net, and we'll be very happy to answer your queries. And as I said, feel free to pick up the phone for a call back. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.